So I hope the title got you because I want to talk about a really important topic today. Why are smart entrepreneurs right now getting stuck? Now, if we've never met before, my name is Maya Haradet. I'm a sales strategist, an entrepreneur, and a business coach. And for more than 20 years, I've been helping entrepreneurs build businesses, attract their customers, build sales plans, and grow revenue. But lately, I'm noticing something here. Some of the smartest people I know are feeling stuck, y'all. They're not lazy, they're not unmotivated, and they're definitely not lacking information. These are not the people I know. They're stuck. And let's be clear, this is a weird stuck because the people that I'm thinking about, they're the ones that have been to the programs. They've bought the courses. They've read the books, listened to the podcasts. They're the ones that they're going to head to a conference and they've got like 3 podcasts in their playlist ready to binge, right? Like they know way more than they did a couple years ago, way more than they did during the pandemic or during the pre-pandemic. But yet they're looking around and they're wondering in their business, like, why is this harder than it should really be? Like, why does this feel so hard? Now, if you've been asking yourself that question lately, I want you to know you are not alone. And I also want to toss out a different type of an answer than what I think a lot of people might think it is. Now, let's go backwards into where what we think the original answer might be. And if you're like me, you're a Gen Xer and you grew up and you were told this mantra of, go to school, work hard, learn your craft, get experience, build solid relationships, right? Stay consistent with what you're doing, and eventually things are going to get easier. We are clear that ain't not happening, right? Because your expertise might be getting recognized, but it's still not enough. There's some opportunities that might be finding you, but it's still not enough. Hopefully at this stage you were hoping your experience was going to start working for you. There's a little bit of truth in that. Your experience definitely matters. Your relationship always matters. Your reputation and who in your industry knows you if you're solving the problem that people want to be solved. But the problem is that the world has changed on us, y'all. It changed like overnight and it's still changing. It's still not even at a place yet where you can really fully plan. The technology has changed, right? The economy has changed. The way people buy have changed. But one thing that ain't changed is the fact that you still need to have things come into your business, right? Like there's this speed of rapid business change that's going on. And I don't think I know a lot of entrepreneurs are really wrestling with a question that they never, ever, ever expected to ask. If I've done everything right, why does it still feel like I have to reinvent myself every day in some cases? So, when you ask yourself that question, which by the way, as a business coach, I think it's a great question to ask because part of your job in running the business is to analyze the data. It's to look at what's going on and get the feedback of what's happening. It could be really easy for you to right now feel like this is something where it's around discipline, right? Like I just have to be more disciplined and more consistent. Or maybe I don't have the right mindset. Maybe I need to get some clarity on my mindset. Or the one that I hear a lot in my coaching group is the motivation piece. Like I'm not motivated, Maya. I don't feel motivated. So I don't think that that's really what the problem is. This is my big controversial moment. I don't think the mindset, and I do a lot of work around mindset, by the way. So, there's always that piece that's out there, but I don't think that's what's really going on right now. I think too many entrepreneurs right now are carrying two competing realities at the same time. And let's talk about it for a minute. The first one is you've got responsibilities. You have bills you have to pay. There are bills that, by the way, are getting bigger and bigger that you have responsibilities for. You got clients, you have your family and your friends, you've got work, you've got commitments, people depending upon you. And so that's your one area of responsibility that you have. And then at the same time, the reality is you know that the future isn't going to look exactly like the past. Something is shifting. You can feel it, you can see it. Your numbers are showing you, right? Like everyone's talking about this artificial intelligence and where does AI fit in with your business? Industries that for years have been consistent. They're going out of business. They're changing. They're rethinking how they're going to show up and what that looks like. There's all these new business models. Folks talking about, hey, go buy the business with the silver tsunami that's out there. Like all of these. And don't get me started with the customer expectations. I'm on a couple of WhatsApp groups. And while I love the speed of technology, it also can be this 24/7, or as I like to say, 25/8 kind of thing happening all the time. And so you're trying to maintain what already exists, right? The work you've always done and still need to maintain and want to. Like you want to maintain relationships with friends and family and things like that. And they're trying to figure out what comes next. And it's exhausting because everything is happening so quicker. So I want to talk about the part of conversation that I don't hear discussed enough. I hear a lot of people talking about they need a side hustle, that they need, more money coming in. And that's true. But I also want to put something out there that I think very often has not been really, really discussed enough. There's a lot of us here who didn't grow up with a safety net. Raise his hand, right? Um, there are a lot of us here that we're the reliable one in the family, or we're just the reliable one, period, right? You're the responsible one. You're the person who figures it out, right? You got the degree, you got the promotion, you worked at the jobs, you started the business. You're the one the family comes to when there's an emergency to be able to help figure things out because you keep things moving. I want to speak especially to that person because I know that person really well, by the way. If you've spent years being that person, uncertainty hits you very different than those that have just been kind of like figuring it out as they go along, right? Because you're not just evaluating your opportunity, you're evaluating the consequences. If I mess this up, if I make a mistake right now, this could be that safety, this could be that reliable thing that I've had for so long. It could be gone, right? And I've seen this happen a couple of times with people where they're trying to apply for the RFPs and they're not coming through in the same way. Or they're going out and they're doing the marketing for the coaching clients or for the individual one-on-one work that they used to do, and it's not coming in. And you're like, yo, what if this thing doesn't work? Like, I don't have time to waste. I can't make the wrong move here. Do you feel that sense of like what that feels like? Those are the real questions. Those are not irrational, by the way. Those are real questions. If you were in my coaching group, you'd be having a whole conversation and a half about it, because I think for many of us, we're not talking and discussing about these themes. And then when it shows up on your cash flow statement at the end of the month, at the end of 3 months, this is the real deal of what's going on. So I want to propose something to you, and I'll be the first to say we can't solve everything in this one video. I wish I could, but we can't. But I can have you start considering this. The realization that I personally have been having lately is maybe we're not stuck because you don't know enough. Maybe we're stuck because you're waiting for the certainty. You're waiting for it to level out. You're waiting for things to kind of look right before you take that first step. Look, maybe you're the type like me that you're like, I got to see the whole path before I'm taking one step. Like before I put $1 down, I need to know how I'm going to make this money back again, right? Like if I'm going to invest my time and energy, I mean, years ago, I used to write proposals only if I knew I could win the opportunity, right? Like I didn't submit into just a rando, stack of things. I need to know if I'm going to spend the time working on this proposal, if I'm going to print this sucker out, that I have a really good shot of getting it. And if you've grown up in an environment where up until now you kind of could have an idea about how it was going to work before you started on it, you had some sort of guarantee about certain things, and now the guarantee is not there. I want you to embrace this concept, right? Because I think, hear me out for a minute, this concept is as different as it may sound, this is the thing long run that's going to get you the guarantees, by the way. This is the thing that's going to help you navigate all of this uncertainty that's going on. And for an explanation of what the uncertainty is, I am not the news person. I am not that guru. Like, go do your homework and your research on, what's happening right now as you're watching this video. But I can talk to you about something that very often is not being talked about for entrepreneurs, and yet it's one of our superpowers. Innovation rarely comes with guarantees. It usually comes with a question. It comes with a pattern, often a frustration, something that gets on your nerves, right? A conversation, a breadcrumb. And I think we've been indoctrinated with too many success stories of seeing the whole thing go to the end, that this idea of you identifying the pattern, or you watching the breadcrumbs or the frustration, something super, super, super small, right? You don't see it. You don't see where the real opportunity is, where the real money is at, because it's not something that fully makes sense just yet. We're caught up in, trying to see the whole thing and how it's going to come together and how we're going to make the money from it. I want you to pause with that. I want you to pause. And yes, I'm saying this even as, prices are rising on like every consumer index right now. I want you to lean into the innovation. I want you to consider a different possibility. Maybe you're not behind. Maybe you're not even lazy. Maybe you're not doing entrepreneurship wrong. Maybe you're in the middle of a transition and you're trying to honor the responsibilities that you have and that you have to juggle by also needing to create space for what's next. I started doing this very activity that we're talking about. And when I tell you how it's changed how I'm showing up, right, in my business and how I'm showing up to serve and to see where the bigger opportunities are, I think a lot of people are really missing this moment. And here's what I mean by that. I know in my business that the smart thing to do is when there's a busy season is to make sure that I'm still going to sell 3 months, 6 months, 9 months in advance, because that's where a lot of people lose their money is they're working on their contract. They're totally consumed with their contract. And then they forget about 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now. Well, in the middle of this, and I'm doing still that type of work. I'm intentionally taking time to journal, to meditate, and to pause, to start picking up my own breadcrumbs, to start identifying the patterns that are showing up for me. Who are those clients? Who are those people right now that I'm not, like, they're on the periphery and they're commenting and they're talking, they're not buying necessarily, but when I start to pay attention to, is there a theme that's showing up, is there a problem that's showing up that 3 months, 6 months from now that I need to be solving, whatever this problem is that's showing up in their work. It's there. It's there. But it's so easy to get caught up in the day to day. It's so easy to get caught up in like making sure you have everything done and it's complete, and you miss out. You miss totally this opportunity because you feel that stuck is a bad thing. And I just want to leave you with this, right? I'm going to do another video where I'm going to get you to talk about this challenge that every entrepreneur faces. I call it the Con Ed problem. And I'm going to go into a whole thing about that, right? How do you pay today's bills while still building tomorrow's business? I'm going to do a whole conversation to give you some more practical tips. But I want to pause first, and I want you to really, really step back and just sit with this. Being stuck is not a bad thing, okay? Don't try to run away from that. Don't try to push past it by either ignoring it and doing something that keeps you busy. Mine is always the laundry. I find myself doing, all of a sudden, I have loads of laundry that I can get done because I have to stay busy and keep my mind going, right? Sit with the stuck for a minute. We're in a period of transition. We're in a period of real opportunity, by the way. If you're present to the opportunity, this is where the real money gets made. And the way that we did it before, the business models that worked before, they may not work moving forward. And that's why the stuck is showing up. I want you to sit with that. I want you to be okay with that. I want you to just pause with that, relax with that, and then stay tuned. I'm going to come up back with another video. You know, I'm always big on giving you the action steps and giving you how you make this happen and move forward. I'm going to give you those action steps on thinking about how you're going to be able to pay today's bills while still holding on to tomorrow's opportunities. All right. If you have any thoughts on this one or any comments, drop the comments below. I always check the comments, and I'm always intrigued and happy to support and serve you with whatever comments that you come up with. All right. I'm going to see you in the next video, so stay tuned.